to Charm Chats.
Hello! And welcome to Charm Chats with Kendra.
And Kat.
I would like to apologize in advance for a lot of doggy breathing you're probably going to be hearing.
Yep.
Because he's being a clingy little asshole.
Yeah.
And he's making me hold him while he sleeps.
Yeah.
It's very cute. And also my neck hurts, so it's very not cute.
Yeah.
But you will probably be able to hear him wheezing.
Probably. Yep. Because I'm not going to really try and cut around that.
No, it's pointless.
Absolutely
pointless. Anyway, we're covering episode 416, The Fifth Halliwheel,
which aired on March 21st, 2002.
Now, full disclosure, there were some conflicting reports.
Yeah.
I'm going to say. Some places it's called The Fifth Halliwheel, which makes zero fucking sense. Apparently the DVD calls it this. IMDb had that.
Yeah.
Kat, fortunately.
I have personally put in an edit for IMDb to fix the name.
She is an IMDb contributor.
Yes, I am.
And a registered nitpicker.
Darn tootin'.
Uh-huh.
But Netflix and Amazon do have the proper title, so that is good.
Yes. And also I imagine TV Guide had it at the time.
Probably. The title is, of course, based upon the expression the fifth wheel, which means a useless extra item on a four-wheel vehicle. It's also sometimes known as the third wheel for when there are three things when there only need to be two.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
But I think that a fifth wheel is a little more accurate because you can always turn a bicycle into a tricycle.
Yes, and also a three-legged stool is very stable.
Yeah.
The most stable, in fact.
Exactly. Yeah. So
a three-wheeled vehicle is very, very stable as long
as the wheels are proper.
as long as the wheels are proper and the weight on top of it is balanced correctly.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of those. You've seen those like weird cars where it's the two wheels in front, the one wheel in back. And they look like Batmobiles.
Yeah, I've also seen the two wheels in back and one wheel in front, which
like
is
Dick
a
Turpin.
normal, tricycle style.
Oh, well, that's also a car. Yeah.
Yes. But the tricycle style is one wheel in front and two in back.
Yes, I know.
So.
I did have a big wheel as a child, so I'm aware.
I don't think I did.
I used to there were these circles on the handles. They were like decoration or whatever, but one was big, one was medium, one was small. So you pretend that was like a gear shift, and I would press it, and that's the speed I would go.
Nice.
Yeah. Just around the block, though.
Nerd!
it helped when I went downhill, too.
Love it. Anyway, let's get right on into it, shall we? We get an external shot of P3. There is no now appearing sign, because why would there be?
There never is anymore.
But there are lots of people standing outside. Inside, Piper and Leo and Phoebe and Cole are all snuggling closely together in their little couples. And then Paige sits down by herself.
And in the frame of the camera, she's just in between the two couples because they're all seated around like one of the VIP tables or whatever.
Paige is in a short yellow dress that has elbow-length sleeves with the left side falling a bit off the shoulder. And it has like a gather on the right hip. It's actually not too bad. It was cool. It was an interesting dress. A weird choice of color for her, though.
It works.
I mean, it isn't bad, but it's just an odd choice to go yellow with her pale skin. Just saying. Her hair is down and slightly curled. Phoebe is in a black, tight, cropped, single strap top that has flower embellishments on the strap, paired with a very colorful skirt. It's kind of hard to see in the lighting, and she never stands up, so I can't really tell you more about it. Her hair is down and straight. And Piper is in a dress of black lace, and her hair is down and lightly curled, and I love this hair on her so much.
Super cute.
So much. Like, this is my favorite hairstyle on Piper ever.
I think mine is at the end of the episode.
That's my second favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, you know what? I think next episode might also be one of my favorite ones.
I haven't watched that one yet.
Because it's like not very 40s, but it's a little 40s inspired.
Good to know.
Anyway, Leo is in a great gray suit. Cole is in black shirt, gray pants, black jacket.
Yep.
Cole is drinking a beer. Piper and Leo have some kind of mixed drink in a tall, thin glass. Phoebe and Paige have mineral water bottles with straws, as always.
Yep. They clink their bottles and their glasses, and Phoebe makes a toast to marriage and then starts nibbling on Cole's ear.
Mm-hmm. Piper, of course, says that they're supposed to be hanging out for her and Leo's anniversary. So Phoebe then makes a toast to their marriage and says that she hopes hers and Cole's will be as successful as theirs. And Piper's like, yeah, that's still about you.
Still doesn't sound like that was about us.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Phoebe, of course, then giggles at Cole. Piper and Leo kiss, and Paige starts to feel a little bit uncomfortable.
She stands up and starts to make excuses to leave, but then Cole's like, no, you'll miss the good part. And she's like, oh, what? Watching you make out wasn't the highlight of my night?
Phoebe asks if they're boring her, but Paige says that she's just finding it weird that Phoebe wasn't the marrying type and is now all into being married.
Yeah, and Phoebe's like, yeah, Piper told me how it was going to be, and it was going to be different. And Piper's like, you just have to experience it to understand it, which is the absolute shittiest thing you can say.
Yup. And then Phoebe and Cole go back to kissing.
Yeah, it's right. Of course they do. It's right there along with, you'll understand when you get older, sweetie.
Yes.
It's like,
I'll tell you when you're older. Fuck off.
No.
Guess what? I'm older now.
Yeah.
That's how time works.
Like, there's always an age-appropriate way to explain something, as long as the child is capable of,
actually understanding.
Cognition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, if they can talk, you can talk to them about racism. You can't really, put it in the
And you can teach a 3-year-old consent.
Yeah. You can teach a 1-year-old consent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or, well, you can teach, as long as they're, mobile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because, kids start understanding things way earlier than you think.
Mm-hmm.
They might not have memories from that early, but,
But that's when you are consistent about it, and you keep teaching them.
Yeah, I have memories from when I was, 2.5. They're very, very faint, and really there's almost none of them, but they're there. Yep. And goodness knows, that's when your brain's doing a lot of its absorption.
Exactly.
Because it's got to lay the groundwork.
Exactly.
That's the foundation for your cognition.
Yes. Anyway, so Phoebe and Cole go back to kissing. Paige asks about the good part, and Cole's like, "Oh, right," and he gets up and he hands Piper and Leo an envelope.
They open it and find out that Cole has gotten them a hotel room and a few nice dinners at the finest hotel in Hawaii.
Paige, of course, questions this, and Cole mentions that he didn't get them plane tickets, so they'll have to orb to Hawaii, which I thought was very funny.
Yes.
Piper is seemingly happy and excited, but Paige is concerned because Cole is, unemployed, and wonders how he's paid for them.
He's like, oh, that's tomorrow's surprise. And then he toasts to Leo and Piper to have a lifetime of happiness.
They clink their glasses, they take a sip, and then the seer appears nearby, across the way.
Yeah. Behind
in
Piper
her red robes.
And Leo, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Cole, as he's taking a sip of his drink, chokes a little on his drink when he notices her.
Yeah, and then spits it out.
Phoebe immediately asks if he's okay. He says he's fine, and he excuses himself. And as he leaves, Paige wonders if he's won the lottery. Phoebe replies, I know I did. Paige laughs a little bit and then apologizes for her laughter. And I thought that was the best, little moment of, you think you've won. I'm sorry, that was rude. It was funny. We then cut to the Telltale Underground Cave.
Mm-hmm. The seer is there standing in front of a cauldron on a tripod, hanging from a tripod of sticks.
Yeah.
As Cole flames in. He is, of course, upset that she showed up at the club when he was there with the entire fucking family.
Yeah. And
she's like, well, yeah, but, I need you for this little fertility ritual I'm doing because you only got one chance to knock your wife up.
Yep. She replies with the best line, and I literally have it quoted verbatim in my notes because I don't know why, but I love this line.
Mm-hmm.
The power of the moon combined with this tonic will make her fertile to the demon's seed and override any preventative measures she's taken.
Okay, so that
sounds lovely, right?
Yeah, overriding your partner's birth control is a form of rape, guys.
Yeah.
Just
a little bit.
Yeah, no, a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's a binary situation.
Yeah.
It's either rape or it isn't, and in this case, it is very much
so. Yeah. Anyway, she says that she'll mix it into chocolates that he has to feed her the next morning, and then he must have sex with her while the moon is high in the night sky, and that the potion will make the evil spawn make sure that she is lenient to him.
Yeah, I think it's all the news out of, like, Georgia and Alabama and shit, that just this, like, it was already cringy, but it's just extra hitting hard right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
Although, I will say, very funny, like, little moment when the seer's like, we can put it into her favorite food, and Cole's immediately like, chocolates. She just looks at him and she's like, okay, we'll put it in chocolates. Like, he was too ready to volunteer that information.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good bit of acting on both of their parts.
Yeah. Though my first thought in this is she's like, you have to feed it to her in the morning. And I'm like, nobody eats chocolate first thing in the morning. This is not going to end well for him.
I mean, you know, sometimes I just want some caramel M&Ms. So, yeah, I can see this happening.
I mean, I get it, but, like, I don't know.
It's not typical, no.
There was just a moment where I was like, she's not going to eat it. I just know she's not going to eat it. Because you don't eat chocolate first thing in the morning. Like, you just brushed your teeth.
That's if you're good at brushing your teeth.
That is true. Which,
I am not.
Neither am I. It's fine. But that was my first thought, you know? Anyway,
the seer then picks up a knife and starts to move toward Cole, and he kind of like holds up a hand.
Yeah, he kind of backs, just like rocks back on a foot,
and like holds up a couple of fingers.
And she's
like he's about to.
It's for the tonic, and he's like, oh right, yeah, okay, and he hands her his hand, and then she cuts his hand right down the palm, right through all those nerves.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it was I love a practical bleeding dagger. I just love that. It's such a nice touch.
I mean, yes.
You hold it because it's blunt, and then you like, I don't know, squeeze the handle or something, and there's like a little bit of blood packet in there, and it just like goes out along the blade.
But I hate that they cut down the palm.
I know.
It just drives me crazy.
I actually rewound this to see if like there was a specific thing she was pushing, like a button or whatever. I couldn't see that, so it was probably just like along the handle or something.
Yeah, probably. But it just drives me crazy.
Yes, I know, and I just love the special effect of it all.
Yep.
Anyway, he drips it onto a skull in the cauldron filled with dry ice.
Yeah, and then we go to the opening credits.
No Daryl this episode.
Nope. So sad.
And then we come inside the bathroom of the manor. We start with just Phoebe and Paige putting on makeup.
And it also started out, like, in a weird, like, slow-mo thing until Phoebe started talking. Like, as soon as she asked a question, then it went into normal. Yeah. But, like, it started in this, like, weird slow-mo thing. It was odd.
Yeah, and then Phoebe asked to borrow Paige's lipstick, I think, or blush or something. It's like a solid blush.
Yeah, it was something like that. Phoebe is in a long-sleeve white shirt with a jean skirt that has fringe at the bottom. Her hair is down and a little wavy, and
I call that kind of curled, really.
Well, but it's it's wavy enough that it makes the really short, severe bang look less severe because there's movement to her hair. Yeah, and so it doesn't look as bad. Paige is in a red and white striped top where the stripes are diagonal at the top and then horizontal for the rest of the torso. And it's got a bit of a tied sleeve thing happening on one side and a flowy ruffle down the other. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's a really cute top. And I swear I had one of those, not in that color, but like one of those kinds of tops. She's paired that with jeans and a red belt that is just there for look, not function.
Like it goes over the bottom of the shirt and kind of hangs down.
Yeah, it's like the back of the belt is at the like middle of her back, and the front of the belt is down at like the base of her jeans. Yeah, like
it looks like kind of one of those Renaissance-y belts.
Yeah, kind of, but it's definitely like the belt is on her body at an angle. Yeah, it is there just for purely aesthetic reasons. I mean, it's not bad because it looks cute, but like there's no reason for that belt.
At this point, Piper comes in. She complains that her hair clip broke. And so Paige is like, oh, you can use one of mine.
Yep. She is wearing a blue, long-sleeve, slightly cowl-necked sweater.
And also slightly bell-sleeved.
a little, and dark blue pinstripe pants. And Phoebe kind of helps her out for a moment by putting a clip in her hair, but she doesn't wind up keeping it in at all.
No, because Phoebe did not do it very well.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like
Holly looks at that in the mirror and she's like, fuck no. We're redoing this.
You could tell that in that moment, it was definitely like an on-set thing of like, I'm just going to pull your hair together. Okay, cool. Clip that clip in. And Holly was just like,
yeah, no.
Nope. Okay, we'll just pull that right back out. But then she leaves it out for the rest of the day. Like, she complained that her clip was broken and then doesn't bother clipping up her hair at all, which I think is hilarious, but so sisterly.
Yeah. Anyway, the girls are all borrowing makeup from each other. It is strewn all over the counter.
It is such a mess.
Yes.
Like, such a mess.
Yeah. Phoebe mentions to the others how it's weird how sex can replace sleep and wonders if any studies have been done on it. And Paige mentions an ex-boyfriend, but Phoebe's like, no, it's different once you're married.
Yeah. Piper agrees that husbands are incredibly sexy.
Ugh. Phoebe then says that Piper should get some new lingerie for her honeymoon and asks Paige if she wants to come with.
Paige replies that she needs to go to the evil place where they keep her paycheck. I don't know why, but I love that line. It was just so perfect.
Yeah.
And then we hear a car horn outside. And Phoebe, like the Piper and Paige go running out, but Phoebe adds a necklace and a pink knit poncho thing that also has fringe on the bottom on top of her shirt. And she fixes her hair one last time and then she leaves, following her sisters. And I apologize about the lawnmower that you probably can hear outside. I'm not going to try and edit around it, and we're just going to talk over it.
Neighbor Dan is mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
And his name actually is Dan.
That's funny.
Uh-huh.
That's very funny. We cut outside as we see the girls and Leo walking out of the house. Leo is in a brown button-down shirt, light tan pants, and a tan jacket.
But no floral skirt.
No. Paige has added a tailored cream-colored jacket to her outfit, which I think she's worn before, at least once. Mm-hmm. And Piper has added a long, dark tan jacket to her outfit.
Yeah, and Paige's jacket has loop closures where, like, the two sides of the jacket don't cross over each other like regular buttons. They, tie with loops, and
it's a fashion jacket.
It's a fashion jacket.
Not a warmth jacket.
No, but it does look pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. And we get to see the tree with no leaves and the swan hitch, because we then see Cole in a dark gray suit with blue shirt and tie, standing beside a silver convertible Porsche. Now, Porsche is a German car company founded by an Austrian engineer named Ferdinand Porsche in 1933. And the most fascinating bits of trivia that I must share from the wiki are that the very first Volkswagen Beetle was actually designed by Ferdinand Porsche. And he also designed the very first hybrid vehicle in 1900.
Wait, like electrical hybrid?
Uh-huh.
How the fuck?
Right.
I want to know how that worked.
Yeah. You can read more about all of that
You know what?
by checking out the links on the website, because it's very interesting.
I totally bet, like, the gas industry was like, fuck that.
Probably. Yep.
Anyway. Because I do know that there was, at some point, someone tried to patent a engine that, like, ran on water somehow.
Yeah.
And then it never took off, even though it would have been, like, super hella efficient.
I mean, there's a lot of things that would be super hella efficient besides gas-powered vehicles.
And the lumber industry.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Anyway, Cole says that the car came with the job.
Which makes Paige ask if he's a valet parker.
Which I'm assuming is a dig at valet parkers who joyride in the cars that are supposed to be parking. But, you know.
Also, there was that movie with David Tennant where there's a valet parker dude.
Yes.
Yeah,
I have not watched that.
I will not watch that because it is very much a, like, psychological thriller with violence, and neither of us are very into that.
Mm-mm. I mean, I'm into a psych thriller. Like, a psychological thriller, I'm all about it. Like, those can be very, very good.
Yeah.
But
it's the violence.
It's the violence that I just don't need in my life.
Yeah. David Tennant does a very good creepy person.
What was that called? The Samaritan. Good Samaritan. Or
Good Samaritan, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
I feel like... Yeah, no. It was one of the guys from Umbrella Academy in it, right?
Probably.
Robert Sheehan?
Yes, I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah. Which is funny because he looks super different in that movie as opposed to Umbrella Academy.
Oh, yeah.
It honestly might just be the beard.
It could be.
But anyway.
Anyway.
Cole says that the company car comes with the job of attorney, and then he pulls out a giant bunch of red roses for Phoebe.
Yeah, it's like got red plastic around it. And
Yeah, it's got
like
clear
vellum.
and red like paper or something.
It's like vellum.
Of course.
Yeah.
And he hands it to her, and Paige comments that she thinks it's strange he got a job as an attorney, considering he didn't last 2 hours in legal aid.
And Piper mentions that he said he hated being a lawyer. Cole says that the legal aid job was high stress and paid nothing, and then wonders why Phoebe isn't smiling.
Leo, while he's walking around the car, asks if it's the Tiptronic,
Which is apparently a transmission thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard that since or before.
Yep.
But Cole's like,
Nope.
nope. And then he goes back to asking Phoebe if she's happy. And she tries to say that she's happy if he's happy, which he seems to be fairly pleased with. And then he reaches into the front seat and grabs a box of chocolates out of the car.
He takes off the lid, saying that they're her favorites, and shows them to her with a flourish. And the string that was holding the box together was dangling from his fingers, and for a moment I thought it was a necklace. Mm-hmm. And I was like, he's giving her a necklace too? What the fuck, man? And then he never mentions it. And that's when I paused it from, I'm like, oh no, it was just the string holding the box. Got it.
Yeah.
But it took me a second.
Yeah. He tells her that he reserved the honeymoon suite at the Mark, and on the shot behind him, I can see a very shiny turret on a house.
There was a turret? I missed a turret.
Like one of those second floor, one-story turrets. Huh. Like a reading nook type deal.
Huh.
Just a little conical
Interesting.
house thing. And it just looked...
I was not paying
the
attention
roof on
to
it
the
just looked
architecture.
super fucking shiny, and it took me out of the moment for a sec.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The Mark, I am assuming he is meaning the Intercontinental Mark Hopkins San Francisco, which is a luxury hotel at the top of Nob Hill.
Where one hobnobs.
The hotel actually survived the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, but was destroyed in the fire that lasted for 3 days afterwards.
Classic San Fran.
Little things.
Cole says it would just be a single night's honeymoon, and Phoebe's like, I need to do some shopping then. Piper, come.
Yeah.
And then Piper mentions that Rebecca Ryan is playing at the club, so she needs to go set up.
So since she's been mentioned, let me tell you about her really quickly. Rebecca Ryan, there's a bit of a discrepancy between the IMDb for her and the Wikipedia for her birthday, as well as her birth name. Her IMDb has her listed as being born Rebecca Cheryl Chance, and that is Rebecca Rebekah, and Cheryl as being Sherrill. And it has her being born on August 2nd, 1976. It also has her being down for 15 acting credits between 1998 and 2010, with this episode of Charmed actually being listed under self instead of actress, so it doesn't count towards that total. Her Wikipedia, however, has her being listed as being born Rebecca Jane Ryan, and that's Rebecca Rebecca, and it has her being born on June 21st, 1976. And, because the wiki is nothing if not funny, it also has it listed that she now works at her local Aldi. So, I'm not sure which of those is true. I mean...
Don't know.
I went to her website, and her website is literally just a landing page now. It's just her name and her face, like her picture. So, I have no idea.
I'm a no-no.
Yeah, I am a no-no as well.
Leo tells Piper that he'll cover for her with the setup, since Cole is making him look bad enough that he has to do something.
Piper smirks a little bit and walks off.
Cole offers the chocolates to Phoebe again, mentioning that they smell good. She smells them, makes a offhanded comment about how he might be evil. Mm-hmm. They kiss, and she's like, I love you, and then walks off without eating any of the chocolate. And Cole's very confused about this, like visibly in the face, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
He doesn't reply to her, closes the box, and then Paige asks which law firm he's working for.
He asks if she's familiar with San Francisco law firms, and she's like, yeah, I've had to deal with them from time to time. And he says that he's working for Jack McCarter and Klein.
She says she hasn't heard of them, but she's got to get to work, and congratulates him.
He thanks her as she walks away, and then he turns to see Leo standing there.
So he pulls the keys out of his pocket and hands them to Leo, which makes Leo very happy. And then Colt, frisbees the chocolates down on the front seat as Leo runs around the car.
It was hilarious. Leo looked like a kid in a candy store. He's like, you're gonna let me drive it? So cool! It was amazing.
Yeah. We then get some Golden Gate Bridge shots, some shots of other buildings, and
they were shown as jumping shots.
Yeah.
Where it was literally jumping from shot to shot and just
jump cut.
Yeah, very quickly.
And then we find ourselves inside a lingerie shop. It's a very sparse lingerie shop.
It's a very, very sparse.
This is not an actual store setup. This is just, hey, we had this space, we got to fill it with racks.
Yep.
Piper is standing, arms crossed, as Phoebe comes out wearing a long... Well, probably thigh length, I think.
No, I think it was
Was it longer?
Yeah, it was full
okay,
length.
I don't remember seeing full shot.
Yeah, it was floor length. It was a long purple lingerie dress.
Yes, a lovely sort of lavender edging into lilac.
Yeah. It has lace sides and spaghetti straps.
Phoebe asks what Piper thinks, and we hear a man nearby exclaim, wow. And then the woman next to him smacks him on the shoulder when the girls turn around.
It was great. So the guy is played by Rob Luke. He has no picture on IMDb and only has 4 acting credits. This was his first, and then he was on an episode of NCIS in 2005 and in 2 different short films in 2011. The woman is played by Anne Gerard, not sure, it's got an I in it.
Probably
so
Gerard.
Yeah. She was born in Elsa, Illinois in 1982, and she has 33 acting credits so far. This was her very first credited role.
Now, Elsa, Illinois is a very tiny village.
Very tiny.
On the western side of Illinois. It's a bit south of Middle.
Yeah.
So, right by Missouri. And has a population... or had, in 2010, a population of 673. So we mean... Actually, no, this is a fucking hamlet.
It is very much a very, very small village, yeah.
Yes. What's the... I know hamlet is probably, one of the smallest designations. Is there something smaller than a hamlet?
I don't know.
Because it's hamlet, village, town, city.
It's definitely a village, though.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
It might be called a village, but, in terms of, size designation, that's, that's technically the order of, how big it is.
Right. Well, it is technically, it is considered a village. Skokie is the biggest little village. Mm-hmm. Because it is still technically a village, but it has a very large
Well, I imagine
population.
that's on its established, whatever clauses of establishment or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
When you become incorporated, if you're unincorporated, you're a township.
Yeah.
And if you are, you get to be it's the, oof. That's very loud.
Yeah, we're gonna talk over it. Continue.
Meh. And when you're actually incorporated, you get to call yourself a village or a city or a town.
Yeah. Oh, no, it is quite loud.
That's because he's doing the little strip right by the garage. Or driveway, rather. Anyway,
Piper quips that the guy liked it, but the girl didn't. And Phoebe asks what the nightie is saying. She says that she's going for the "we're married but we're not dead" look, which I think is hilariously funny because they've been married for less than a week.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Piper says it looks more like I'm going to wear this one night and spend the next 6 months paying it off look. And Phoebe's like, I hate it when you're right.
Yeah.
So she heads for the dressing room, which is literally just whatever fucking additional area of this set that they just curtained off.
Yeah. It's literally a little box with a curtain.
Yeah, it's way too big.
Yep.
And
Piper mentions that Cole going corporate means that they can probably afford anything she wants.
Phoebe's like, yeah, but I'm not gonna rely on Cole's pay, and I'm not gonna fucking sit at home while he works.
Piper starts wandering the store, and Phoebe amends that she might do that in 10 years or so when she has kids, and Piper wonders if she hit a nerve.
Yeah. Phoebe says she thinks it's time she got a job, and Piper reminds her that being charming as they are is a full-time job. And Phoebe's like, yeah, but our job comes with death threats in lieu of a paycheck.
Piper, after giving a quick glance around the store, tells Phoebe that she should enjoy the money that Cole is bringing in.
Phoebe comes out of the dressing room wearing her original white shirt and jeans and carrying Piper's jacket, for some reason, and her knit poncho.
She puts the poncho back on and reminds Piper that she worked really hard for the psychology degree that she's got, and she's hoping to be able to put it to use to help people in a non-magical way.
Then outside we hear a bunch of car horns and we see a woman in the middle of the road as cars are speeding past her. And we'll tell you about her at the end of the scene, we promise.
Yep.
But at this point, the girls go running outside.
And we can see the shot that they were in is just called Intimates, in all caps.
And what this tells me is that every other possible fake, like all fake names you can think of actually exist.
Yep.
And they don't want to have, like, get
Yep.
sued for copyright.
Yep, absolutely. Because they're, like, legit. It was just Intimates. Like,
Now, you
really?
can do something
Alright.
called, like, Sherry's Intimates or something. Like, you can put a name on it where it doesn't look like the fake branding on Food Network for
Yeah.
all of the food they use on Chopped.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah.
But, like, it's
Not so much.
it's a little obvious right here.
Yeah.
Anyway, Piper freezes the taxi that's about to smash into the woman. She's been lucky so far.
Yep.
And then Phoebe runs across the road, tackles her to the ground to get her out of the way. And the second they're out of the way of that fucking taxi, Piper unfreezes everything.
Yep. The taxi continues on, and then Piper runs across the road to help out.
And they both loudly talk about the car having brakes.
Yep. It was a lovely way of them trying to fend off, like, the people on the
Yeah.
sidewalk, because there was a lot of people around.
Including, was that black dude, did he have a mullet?
I don't
Like
remember.
a pinned back mullet?
I don't remember.
It looked a
wasn't paying
bit
close enough
business in front, party in back to me.
Yeah.
And I've never personally seen that on a black dude, so it was a little jarring.
Yeah. No, I was not paying close enough attention to the extras.
Anyway,
Piper asks the woman if she's okay.
and the woman's like, "Can you help me get to work? I have a deadline." And she's clearly, like, confused and disoriented. So Phoebe grabs her arm to help her and then gets a premonition of the woman being hunted by some kind of demon in a suit. She tells Piper, through the corner of her mouth, she's an innocent, and then they head off screen. And I think Piper rolled her eyes a little bit.
Yeah, like, of course she is. Our innocent woman, who we will learn later is named Karen Young, is played by Molly Hagan. She was born in Minnesota in 1961. She's a bit of a that guy. She has 145 credits so far, starting back in 1985. And I remember her from the 1991 to 1994 show called Herman's Head.
Did you show me that one?
I think I have. It is such a weird show, and I'm totally going to link to the intro for it because more people should know how odd it is. And I think I found the pilot episode on YouTube, and I'm totally going to link to that as well because it's such a weird show.
Yeah, I do think I remember you showing me
So
that.
weird.
That and what was it, Dead at 29 or whatever?
Dead 21.
Dead 21.
Yeah, Dead 21 is also one of those shows where, like, I love it, and I wish that it was that I could find it again. 'cause
And I'm
it's so
pretty
good.
sure I recognize her from some Disney Channel movie, but I can't remember
Possibly.
what.
More recently, she has been on iZombie and Jane the Virgin, as well as a bunch of other stuff. So she is very recognizable for that. We cut over to South Bay Social Services.
Where Paige is talking to Lila, who we met back in 403.
Yep.
Paige is saying how she doesn't trust Cole, even though she called the firm he mentioned and said he worked there.
And I love Lila's reaction is like, he told the truth? What a rat. It was great.
Yeah. She's confused by his ability to suddenly be Mr. Suave Lawyer Man now, even though he literally hit a client while working in legal aid.
Lila says that people can change, but Paige doesn't think that people change that fast or that much, and she's going to keep an eye on him.
And Lila sarcastically says, "Oh yeah, that's the best way to reconnect with your sister." And then Paige's phone rings.
She answers it to Phoebe, who is in the car with Piper and soon-to-be-named Karen. Phoebe asks Paige to come back to the manor for some witchy-type stuff. And Paige says that she'll be there, and they hang up. And I don't know why, but just the thought process of sitting in the car with this person and just calling it witchy-type stuff was just funny to me.
Yeah.
This episode had little moments of just funny little moments for me.
Yeah. We cut over to the manor where Cole is in the foyer hallway. Ooh, I love how that rhymes. with the seer. The seer is annoyed that Phoebe didn't eat the chocolate, but Cole's like, yeah, I thought shoving it down her throat might have been suspicious. And then he asks if it's too late.
The seer says that it's stronger the longer it has to gestate.
Poor choice of words.
But that it might still work. Cole tells her to warn him of any demons that might attack, as he can't afford any distractions for Phoebe, and then the front door opens.
And very quick thinking, Cole waves across the seer and turns her into a slightly taller than she was black man with a lovely like beige suit.
Yep.
Just as Piper, Phoebe, and Karen walk in. Phoebe starts to say something, but Cole introduces his law clerk, Mike, and says he was just leaving. And now, the work that this actor does with pretending to be vaguely confused and also a woman who doesn't know she's been turned into a man, like, this is some great subtle work.
Yeah,
and I love it.
It was quite nicely done.
And also started off a bit British.
Yeah, it was a bit of an accent happening. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But the seer knows to mostly keep her mouth shut and only say plausible words.
Yes. So our Mike is played by Chris Butler. He only has 53 credits so far, starting back in 2000, with this being his 5th credit. And people might recognize him from The Good Wife or Designated Survivor. And on IMDb, he is miscredited. Chris Butler is on there as uncredited, and this character is credited as someone named Christopher Butler. I tried to fix it in IMDb, but they declined it, and I don't know why, so I'm going to try it again.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just salty about it. Anyway.
I mean, granted, Christopher is just a full name for Chris, but
Right,
like,
but
if
it's
he
two
goes by
different
Chris,
people.
if it goes by Chris...
But this is my thing, is Christopher Butler has no picture and has like 5 credits.
Oh,
Chris
so they-
Butler has a picture.
Okay.
It is this guy.
Yeah.
Which is why I know that it's wrong. So I don't understand why my contribution was declined, which is why I'm going to try it again.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Anyway, Mike excuses himself and heads for the door as Phoebe introduces Cole to Karen Young. And we get...
The best moment
You
for
know
this
what?
character. It was so funny.
As he's about to reach the door, he hits that little vanity stand with the mirror and turns toward it and kind of looks himself up and down. And like, does this kind of head/eye roll.
Yeah, it's that look of like, I can't fucking believe he did this to me. Kind of like,
fucking
are
course.
you kidding me? Of course he did. And then, does this little head shake, walks outside, and upon closing the door and standing in full view on the porch, disappears.
Yeah, it does the nice little glowy outline, bottom up through the eyes,
Yep.
disappear.
We cut back to the living room where Karen is explaining to Piper that she can't remember what happened to her, and then she starts to cry.
Piper promises to help her as Phoebe and Cole walk into the foyer. He asks what's wrong with Karen, and Phoebe's like, I'm not sure. I think I had a premonition that already happened. She says that Karen got hit by some sort of light ball, and they might have to postpone their night. And
He immediately says that they can't. She tries to remind him that innocents come first, and he's like, of course they do. And then he covers by saying that he just can't wait to be alone with her. And he'll do whatever he can do to help. And then he sees the chocolates on the table.
And in a stroke of genius, frankly, picks one up, holds it near Phoebe's mouth, and asks her to forgive him.
She hesitates for a moment and then takes a bite of this chocolate. And
it's almost a cake pop.
Yeah, like it is such a big chocolate.
Yeah,
like it is way bigger than
when
it should have been.
When she bit into it, the interior is dark, so I can only assume it's some kind of dark chocolate thing, truffle.
Yeah.
Covered in white chocolate with like a darker chocolate swirl.
Yeah.
Now, white chocolate is not actually chocolate, guys. I'm saying this because otherwise Elton Brown will not rise from the grave. He's not dead, but he's going to like pop his head through a wall and let me know.
Yeah, white
So,
chocolate is
white
not
chocolate is not
and
chocolate.
White chocolate is disgusting.
Anyway, she takes a bite. It's huge.
Right.
And then immediately
They start to kiss.
Horn Dog City.
Yeah.
They start,
Piper, I love this little moment because they start like making out.
Yeah.
And then Piper shows up and is like, there's an innocent in the living room?
Yeah.
Guys, remember that little thing?
And she asks Cole to sit with Karen while they go look in the Book of Shadows.
And as the girls head for the stairs, Piper grabs a chocolate from the box and eats it.
And Cole starts to say something, then stops himself and laughs a little. And then as Piper's going up the stairs, she says, suddenly, I can't wait to go on my honeymoon.
Yeah, Phoebe says that she can't either, and she blames it on the full moon.
There were some serious aphrodisiacs in that chocolate, man.
Yeah, it was one of those moments where, like, I think this moment of Piper grabbing the chocolate was very much a sister thing. Mm-hmm. Of, like, you know, it's
What's
just
yours
chocolate.
is mine.
Yeah, it's just chocolate. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
And, like, I love that moment so much.
Yeah.
Cole makes a little whistle sound, and then he walks into the living room and asks Karen what happened.
She says she doesn't know. He gets annoyed at the time that's being wasted, and then holds his hand, like, just above her head. And it kind of glows with bluish light and looks like it's pulling memories out of her head, like kind of a pensive sort of thing.
A little bit. But his hand isn't actually touching her head, like, at all.
Yeah, he asks who attacked her, and then she jumps up and starts screaming for him to leave her alone and not touch her.
And then she says, he was touching me, and Cole turns to see that Paige is standing in the living room entrance, just kind of holding her keys.
Like she came in from the back door.
Just staring at him. And we go to commercial break. Mm-hmm.
We come back from commercial, and there's a very weird continuity thing.
Yeah, like Cole's lips are suddenly very glossy. And, like, the glossiness comes and goes throughout this entire scene from this moment on. Mm-hmm. Like, some shots his lips are super glossy, and sometimes they're, like, just super matte, and it's just weird. It's like someone forgot that he wasn't wearing chapstick, and so between takes they gave him chapstick.
Or he kept licking his lips when the camera wasn't on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just super weird. Anyway.
He says he didn't hear Paige come in. Karen sits back down and, like, kind of curls up on herself. Mm-hmm. And then Cole walks over to Paige, saying that she looks like she saw a ghost.
She says she's not sure what she saw, and asks what he was doing to Karen. He replies that he was comforting her. She's obviously hysterical.
And this is when we cut back to the couch and we see her, like, pulling her knees up and crying.
And then Piper and Phoebe come in with the Book of Shadows. Cole mentions that they were quick. Piper replies that they are good. And then thanks Paige for coming home.
Phoebe goes over and cuddles with Cole. And then Paige says they have a problem, but changes her mind about saying anything when she sees Phoebe all snuggled up with Cole. And then changes it to asking what the problem with Karen is.
Looking in the Book of Shadows, we learn that there are demons called power brokers, and the light ball that was thrown at Karen was a demonic power. Cole gets a little exposition time to explain that brokers sometimes use people to store powers until they find a buyer so thieves can't get them. Because that's a thing, apparently.
It's like drug mules.
Apparently so.
Except, in this case, the bag always bursts, but you can recollect it afterwards. Because then they go on to explain that a human possessed of demonic power will become confused, frightened, paranoid, violent, and demonic, and will ultimately die if the power isn't withdrawn.
Phoebe says that there's a potion to pull the power out of her. Cole waves his hand behind his back and
his pocket.
Yeah, and makes his pager go off. He looks at it and says that it's work and they probably just want him to fill out more forms. So Phoebe tells him to go and they'll call him if they need him. They kiss, he leaves, and he passes Paige as he goes, and he kind of gives her a look on his way out. Karen tries to say she has to leave and take care of her family, but Piper tells her that her family is fine. She says that she has a job and a deadline, and Elise will fire her.
And then Paige says they'll talk to Elise, they'll make sure that everything is okay with the job. Piper's like, I'll go, but Paige is like, no, Piper, you're best with potions. Phoebe should go, and then hands her the keys to her car.
Phoebe tells them to call if things get worse, and she leaves. Though we never actually hear Karen tell them where she works, so she must have mentioned this during a time we aren't shown.
Yeah, it must have been, like, while she was in the car or whatever.
Yeah.
Or on the way to the car, probably.
Yeah. Piper says that they're missing an ingredient, so she's going to go to the store, as Paige tries to tell her what she thinks she saw with Cole.
Piper, of course, doesn't want to hear any of it, shuts her down, tells her she has to figure out her issues with her brother-in-law on her own, and she leaves.
Paige waits a beat, and then goes over to ask Karen if she can ask her some questions.
Yeah. Cut to outside. Piper gets in her car, where we see the window has been left down.
Is that a thing that people do? Is that just a California thing? Is that like I don't understand that. Leaving your windows down? Like, do people not leave things in their car? Do people not care about weather getting into their car? Do people not care about things getting stolen from their car? I don't understand leaving your windows down if your car
This is a
just
production
out on the
thing. They
street.
just wanted it to be well ventilated.
I'm assuming that it was a production thing in that they didn't want the cameras being caught in the glass. But
It was at the wrong angle for that, though.
I don't know.
And also the back windows were closed anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as someone who lives in an apartment complex where there are lots of cars around,
Yeah.
I would never leave my windows down.
No,
Ever.
I don't either. Even when it's like super hot out, and that's a good way to let the heat escape.
Even if my car was in a garage, I don't think I would leave the windows down.
I wouldn't either. There are too many spiders in there.
Yeah, like you never know.
There's buggies. We don't want those in the car.
You know. Anyway, so she gets in her car, she drives off, and then Cole pulls up in front of the house in the convertible, and
It was like hidden behind the next car down the block.
and we get a couple lovely shots of the swan hitch.
We cut back inside as Paige is trying to figure out what Cole was doing to Karen. Karen isn't really all there enough to answer her, and then we see Leo walk in from the kitchen and ask for Piper.
Paige goes over to him, mentioning that Piper has just left, and asks if he's not supposed to be at the club.
He's like, well, I'd rather be on my honeymoon, and then asks who the woman is.
They sit down on that little window seat that we rarely see, and she says that the woman is an innocent, and they're on top of it, but then goes on to mention that she thinks she saw Cole use magic, and that his hand was glowing.
Leo starts to say something, but she continues that something strange is going on because he's giving elaborate gifts and has an expensive car as a job perk.
Leo asks if having a company car makes Cole a demon, and she replies something about Cole being different lately. And then she wonders if she's the only one that's seeing it. Leo says that she might be the only one wanting to see it because nobody wants to be the fifth wheel.
Paige tells him that isn't fair, and he says that judging Cole for his past isn't fair. He reminds her that Cole isn't a demon anymore, and he's part of the family. Then he gets up and walks out the front door. Once at the bottom of the top set of steps, he flames out because it was Cole the entire time.
Yeah.
We cut to the underground where Leo, quote unquote, flames in and turns back into Cole. When he sees that the seer, still Mike, is like doing eyebrows.
Yeah, and is very impatient of like, how dare you leave me like
Yes.
this?
And then Cole changes Mike back into the seer, and she thanks him, which proves that the seer does not have her own natural
Yep.
shape-shifting powers, which is interesting.
Yep. It's also quite good to know.
Yes, yes, it is. Cole says that Paige saw him using his powers, and she just flips the fuck out. She's like, gotta kill her. And he's like, yeah, no. Some subtlety, please?
Yeah. Paige dying doesn't really fit into the plan of getting Phoebe pregnant.
Today, anyway.
Yeah. Cole says that he knows of a way to make sure that no one can trust what Paige says, mentioning that a power broker has infected an innocent that they have brought home. He then says that he can get a power broker of his own to infect Paige just long enough to get Piper and Phoebe onto their honeymoons.
The seer is, of course, concerned about Paige telling her sisters, but Cole says he can, quote-unquote, accelerate her slide, pushing her past fear and into paranoia, so that she won't trust them enough to alert them.
He then waves his hand, and a man appears looking like he was just pulled off a chair and onto the floor.
And it's definitely the dude from the premonition.
Correct.
Though we didn't get that good of a look at him in Phoebe's premonition, but it's
Correct.
him. And we'll see him later.
Yes. Now, according to IMDb, this character's name is Rafe, though we never hear it mentioned in the episode at all. The actor is Mario Schugel. He has 13 acting credits between 1999 and 2016.
He falls over and, with annoyance in his voice, as he's brushing off his suit, asks who did this, meaning who summoned him. Cole's eyes turn black and then fire and then back to black before returning to normal. And, of course, the power broker's like, shit, the source, and kneels on the ground.
Cole says that him being the source should stay a secret for now, and motions for the power broker to stand. He does, and Cole says that he has an assignment that will reward him with more power than he can possibly imagine.
And the seer, with her wonderfully done eyeliner, does not seem fond of this.
Yeah.
But she says nothing.
Correct.
We jump to Phoebe walking into the police station. Sorry, not the police station, the Bay Mirror. It's been redressed, guys.
Yeah.
Which is totally filled with people.
Yep. As she walks in, a man immediately walks up to her.
And does that Hello.
Yeah. This actor is Dominic Kurtyan. He has no picture on IMDb and only has 2 acting credits. The other one is a security guard in the 2010 movie Bare Knuckles, which is apparently about a single mom trying to win a boxing tournament to get a better life for her family.
Fun.
Yeah. Anyway, the guy seems impressed by the look of Phoebe and asks her, "You are?"
To which she replied that she's married, and very excited about her honeymoon that night. And he immediately is like, oh shit, and turns around.
Yeah.
And then she kind of grabs him and she's like, hey, I'm looking for a boss type someone named Elise. And he points her toward the interrogation. Sorry, no, Elise's office. That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep doing this. This is a good bit.
Yeah. But she does this funny thing where, like, she kind of thanks him, and as she turns to walk away, she moves her purse from the side to covering her butt.
Yep.
It was a little subtle moment where it
Yeah.
was like, yep, because that's what you do. Like, I don't want you staring at my ass, so I'm going to cover my ass.
Yeah.
Literally.
And we are shown a door that says Elise Rothman, editor. And
And
just
the door,
before...
and just before she can knock, the door opens and we see Aunt Jackie. I mean, Elise.
That's right. Way back in episode 107, we did mention that Rebecca Balding would be back in a later season as a different character, and this is that season.
This is that character. So, since it's been a while, and spoiler, she gonna be around for a while, I will refresh your memory a little bit. Born in 1955 in Little Rock, Arkansas, she's got 46 acting credits starting back in 1976, and this show was her final acting gig, unless she comes back to working. Who knows?
Yeah. Phoebe says that she's there on behalf of Karen Young, who has fallen ill, and Elise immediately says that Karen is fired because Karen being late means Elise is late, and she can't sit around and wait for her. So Phoebe immediately is like, oh, no, she's not going to be late. Is
Unless
she
she's already late.
And Lisa's like, the deadline is 8 p.m. that night, but then questions Phoebe about Karen being sick.
Phoebe says that she's there to pick up Karen's assignment and bring it to her since, quote, nothing is more important to Karen than reporting the news.
Elise says that she wouldn't call the advice column news, and then grabs Phoebe's wrist and takes her to Karen's office.
Like, physically pulls her behind her, and it was the funniest moment where it's just like, oh, this is the thing that's happening.
Yeah, and this is a part of the police station redress that's kind of new, because they have added a window and an actual door onto where, like, the bulletin board was normally or something, or, like, right next to it, I guess. So there's a little office right here.
Yeah.
And we open it, and we see what Elise calls a train wreck of a desk. There's papers, letters, books, all fucking over it.
Yeah, it is a mess.
The inbox, outbox is...
overflowing.
Oh, it's not even visible.
Yeah.
And Phoebe's told that this week's letter is somewhere there.
Yeah. Phoebe comments about the amount of mail, and Elise says that Karen must be doing something right because, you know...
she's got a following.
Got a lot of following.
Phoebe starts to ask for a small extension on the deadline due to traffic and such.
And Elise says that while she appreciates that it takes a special type of person to, quote, rifle through the miseries of absolute strangers and actually manage to help, and she couldn't even manage to care, the newspaper works on a deadline.
She leaves, and Phoebe looks back at the desk.
And it was one of those, like, no extension, period, goodbye. And I love that. I love that it's like, nope, you're not going to get what you want this time.
Yeah.
Guess what? Work with this.
Yeah.
We cut to P3, where, thank you, Blue, where we hear some music. It's very White-esque.
Yeah.
We hear Piper giggling, and then the phone rings.
Piper pops up into frame, apparently topless.
And out of breath.
Oh, yeah, to answer it.
And we get to see both of Holly's wrist tattoos completely uncovered.
It's Phoebe calling to ask about the potion, but Piper stammers out that Paige is making the potion, and then Leo pops up behind her and starts kissing her neck.
And we can see that Leo still has his shirt on, but it is very much unbuttoned. And this is where you can definitely tell that Piper probably doesn't have a shirt or a bra on, at all.
Piper mentions that she has 10 glorious minutes before she has to add the herbs. How fucking close to the house is this place?
Well, she's with Leo, so Leo can just orb her.
True.
Yeah.
And Phoebe asks for her help to keep Karen from getting fired.
Piper is only vaguely paying attention, as Leo seems to be distracting her.
And, oh gosh, Holly's making some fun noises here.
Oh, yeah, and some fun faces.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very much implying where Leo's hands are happening to be at various points.
Yep.
Phoebe asks what to tell a 28-year-old woman who's still living at her parents' house because she's afraid of living alone.
Piper tells her to tell this woman to get a life, but Phoebe wonders how she can say that there's nothing to be afraid of when they fight demons every day.
Piper makes a noise, which prompts Phoebe to ask what she's doing, and Piper says she's taking her own advice and hangs up.
Phoebe replies with, ew, and hangs up the phone. And I just started laughing. I literally had to pause at that moment and just stop myself from laughing because I have seen this gift set.
Yeah. I
so
always
many
forget
times.
which season it's in, yeah.
And, like, I had completely forgotten when this came in. But, like, I love this gift set so much because just the faces that Holly makes are just wonderful. Mm-hmm. It's one of those where it's slight secondhand, like, embarrassment, secondhand awkwardness. Yeah. But, like, it's Piper and Leo, so you get over it. You know, it's like, okay, but it's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Back at the manor, Paige is in the kitchen making the potion from the other side of the island for some goddamn reason.
Yeah. She's got Karen behind her sitting at the table, and she's like mumbling to herself that she has to get out. And we can see on the table there is a glass pitcher and some matching glasses, as well as there was like a teacup and a lovely bowl of fruit on the table. I saw a pear, a couple of apples, some grapes, and a pomegranate. It was a very interesting selection. It was very California.
Mm-hmm. Karen stands up, flips the table, and heads for the door, but Paige stands in her way. She tells Karen that the medicine is almost ready and she needs to take it before she can go.
Karen says that they're trying to poison her and that she's, quote, working for that bitch Elise, unquote, and then says that she's going to kill Elise before Elise kills her.
Paige is like, no, we're trying to help you, not hurt you. Karen's like, I don't want your help. And then pushes Paige onto the floor and runs into the foyer. Well, runs into the dining room.
Yeah. Paige orbs out and orbs back in front of Karen, stopping her from getting to the front door. And this, of course, freaks Karen out. Like, what are you?
She asks that and then pounces on her.
Yeah. Paige jumps out of the way just as Cole comes in through the front door. He grabs Karen, asks where Phoebe is. Paige is like, that's a good question. And then the power broker smokes in behind Paige.
And there's a split-second smile from Cole as the power broker nods and gets a light ball ready. Cole then calls out to Paige, and the power broker throws the ball into Paige's back. She does a little glow, and then Cole lets go of Karen to dive onto the power broker.
They go flying into the table in the foyer, bringing our FAQ up to 15 for the season and 64 for the series.
He yells to Paige to get Karen out of there. Karen tells her to stay away, and then holds up her hands, and this red acid energy stuff comes out of them and burns Paige's forearms, which freaks Karen out again, and she runs outside.
Paige yells for Leo. He orbs in with Piper, who are now fully clothed. Piper even has her jacket on. Mm-hmm. And he starts to heal Paige.
Cole tells Piper to blow up the power broker, which he goes, what?
Yeah.
And then Piper, of course, blows him up. She then asks where Karen went, and we see it's taking a little while for Leo to heal Paige's arms.
We go to commercial break, and we come back a little moment later in the kitchen, where the table has been set right, and Paige is back to making the potion.
She touches her head, which prompts Leo to say that she should be feeling better since he healed her wounds, but she's like, I'm still a little woozy.
I love that word. Woozy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
It's cute.
It's a fun word. Woozy.
It's a bit woo-woo.
I'm a little woozy.
Yeah. Piper comes in, sans jacket, talking on the phone with Phoebe, who is now sans poncho.
Piper tells Phoebe that Karen hurt Paige with acid spray. Phoebe asks if their innocent is now their demon, and Piper's like, yeah, kind of both.
Yeah. She then mentions that Paige said that Karen ranted about wanting to kill her boss, and Phoebe tells them to come to her because she can't deal with an acid-breathing innocent, and she's on a deadline.
Piper tells her that the acid was coming out of her hands, and hangs up, and tells the group that she's going to head over to Phoebe in case Karen shows up.
Paige offers to orb them, but Cole pipes up, saying that her orbing is still a bit clumsy. He also offers that they might need Leo's ability to heal, and Piper agrees that Paige should stay at the house in case Karen comes back, and to call them if there's any problems. Any real problems.
Leo asks Cole to keep an eye on Paige. Cole says he will, and then Leo orders out with Piper. And Paige does not seem comfortable being alone with Cole, and he asks if she has a problem with him. Thank you, Blue.
When she doesn't reply, he reminds her that he just saved her life, and she says something about not understanding and then runs out of the room.
Cole notices the finished potion bottle on the table and, like a cat, knocks it onto the floor. And then he says, oops, to the empty room, and I started giggling.
It was good.
Because it was just like, oh, there's a potion bottle. Shame if something would happen to it.
We get a beautiful night shot of the city,
including the Triangle Building.
With a full moon in the sky.
And then inside the bay mirror, Piper and Leo look through the blinds, like slam those blinds open. I was annoyed by this.
Yeah.
And it's covering the office window, and Phoebe is typing on the computer, and we have one of my favorite moments where I've seen this gift set as well, and I love this gift set.
Yeah.
Phoebe asks how to spell oblique, and we see Leo open his mouth to start to answer, and Piper just tells her to use spell check.
Yeah. OBLIQUE, guys.
Yes. But I just thought it was very funny of that, like, how do you spell this word? And Leo tries to help her because that's what he does. And Piper's like, just use spell check.
Yeah.
It was funny. Anyway.
Yeah. Phoebe goes back to typing as Karen barges into the office, like the full office, not her office.
Right. The main.
Leo notices her. Karen, like, shoves a dude out of the way. And Piper tells Phoebe there's an acid spraying innocent in the house. And Phoebe asks for a second as she continues typing.
Piper then opens the door to the office, gets Karen's attention, and Karen enters the room. And just at that moment, Phoebe mentions that she has sent the article to the printer.
Piper tells Karen that they have her medicine, and acid spray comes out of Karen's hands. Piper jumps out of the way. Phoebe levitates and holds herself, like, against the wall very near the ceiling.
Yeah, it was really an interesting thing, because all of a sudden you just kind of see her levitate up, and then we see her wedges.
Yeah.
Little wedge heels just against the wall.
Yeah. And anyway, we see the acid spray melt the computer. The effect itself is kind of a nice, lovely little, like, heat distortion sort of visual, which I find fun. And
Yeah.
then they just tint it red.
Yeah. Phoebe comes down from the wall and quips that it was a good thing she was done.
Yeah.
Because the computer no longer exists.
Mm-hmm.
Piper freezes Karen. Leo says that someone's coming and tells them that the door doesn't lock.
Phoebe says that Elise is coming for Karen's assignment, and she's hopeful that Elise will like it, which Piper yells at her for. And then Piper hands Phoebe the potion and tells her to shove it down Karen's throat.
Piper stands behind Karen, grabbing her arms, and unfreezes her. Phoebe races over and pours the potion in her mouth, apologizing as she does.
Elise tries to open the door, but Leo holds it closed, and Elise demands that Karen open the door. So Piper, after the potion's ingested, sits Karen on the couch, and we see a light come out of her and, like, go off screen.
Yep. Leo then lets go of the door, making Elise kind of fall into the room a little bit.
Yeah, he apologizes for it being jammed. Elise asks what's going on and who they are. And Phoebe's like, oh, this is Karen's doctor and nurse.
And Elise asks, is she going to live? And Leo's like, yeah, she's going to be fine. And Elise is like, good, where's my copy?
Yeah.
It was just matter of fact. Like,
yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's like, I'll be human for a second for politeness sake, but
Yeah.
I will be my job next.
Exactly.
Karen starts to say she doesn't have it, but Phoebe runs over the printer and grabs it and hands it to Elise, who starts to read it. And my favorite bit right here is where she just, ha! That was funny.
Yes. Yeah. It was, I love, like, she's so matter of fact of, like...
It's a very deadpan delivery, and I enjoy that.
Yeah, I enjoy it as well.
She's not a very effusive character, but she is likable.
Yeah. Phoebe asks if it's a good funny or a bad funny, and Elise tells Karen that she should be sick more often because what she's reading is good. Phoebe is very excited that it's good. Piper gives her a look, and Phoebe replies, yay, Karen!
Karen looks at Phoebe and thanks her. Elise says she's welcome, and then leaves with the paper.
Phoebe then says, I did it! I mean, we did it!
Yay,
we!
And then collapses onto the desk chair.
Yeah, it was super cute. I loved this scene. There are just so many little moments in this episode that I really enjoy. We then jump over to the attic at the manor.
Paige is kneeling on the floor, super frightened, as Cole throws a fireball into the ceiling and then fixes...
No, he doesn't throw it into the ceiling.
In the wall?
Yeah, he throws a
It
fireball.
looked angled in the shot where they fixed it.
Yeah, no, he throws the fireball at the wall behind her and then somehow fixes a hole in the ceiling.
I think the intention was that he's supposed to cause the damage and fix it so it looks like it never happened, thereby gaslighting her.
Right, but we don't see the damage happen.
We see because obviously the fireball itself is CG'd in, so they didn't actually do all of the pyrotechnics involved.
But they didn't even add in like
a smudge mark.
Yeah, but the thing is, like
it
I
was
said,
a bit lazy.
It was a bit weird because they didn't have him throw the fireball at the ceiling. They had him throw it at the wall, and then it's absolutely the ceiling that he's fixing a hole in.
Yeah.
So we can tell, I'm assuming that they're trying to make it so that it's like he's been doing this for a while. It's the only thing that makes sense. Anyway, he asks what's the matter and if she's okay. She asks how he did that and begs him to admit that he's a demon.
He says he can't believe she'd think that she's the one acting strange, and walks toward her. She's like, stay away, and crawls into a corner, and that she's going to tell Phoebe. And Cole's like, your sisters wouldn't have left you alone with me if I were evil, would they? And she, of course, begs him to stay away.
Yeah. He says that Phoebe wouldn't have married him if he were a demon.
And he's, like, crouching in front of her.
Yeah. And then fire shows up in his eyes. And his phone rings at that moment. He answers it to Phoebe, who asks about the honeymoon suite. She tells him that they found Karen, they saved her job, and that Karen doesn't remember anything from the day.
Cole's like, that's perfect. And when Phoebe questions him, has the brilliant response.
Yeah, quick response.
Of, it means that she can't expose them as witches.
He tells her that they should still be able to make a late check-in. She laments not having anything to wear, and he says that he'll pack for her
because he knows what he likes.
She says that she'll meet him there, and she goes to hang up. He catches her and tells her to tell Leo and Piper to just order straight to Hawaii without packing, because you never know when the next demon will attack.
Mm-hmm. She says she'll tell them, and she puts the potion bottle in her purse and tells him to hurry. They both hang up. Paige starts to run towards Cole, but then he turns around just as she's about to get to him, and he does that, like, flame up around him. And once she stops, the flames all disappear. So she cries and begs him to stop, and he's like, oh, are you seeing things? And then leaves the attic.
Yeah, he closes the door behind him, and she starts throwing things around the room. Like, and then just kind of, being all mad about things, throwing random stuff. And then she throws her hands out and zaps the dollhouse.
With, like, these white rings that emanate from her hand. It looked like...
Yeah.
It kind of looked like Aquaman calling...
Yeah, it was...
Calling the sea animals.
Yeah,
but,
it was
like,
very much
not as much a conical spray.
Yeah, it was very much an energy blast kind of thing. Now, the dollhouse doesn't count toward the FAQ.
Like a ray gun.
Mm-hmm.
Like those old ray gun from the cartoons and shit.
Yes. Now, the dollhouse doesn't count toward the FAQ, but has that dollhouse been blown up before? I know it was set on fire.
I'm certain it has.
Like, I know it was set on fire at some point.
Undoubtedly.
I kind of wish we'd had a tally for it because it's funny.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start one now, but I'm just thinking about it. Anyway, Paige looks at her hands, sinks to the floor, starts like whimper crying, and we can see her butt crack. Because her jeans are very low.
Because this is that era of the extremely low-cut jeans.
We go to commercial break. We come back to the manor a bit later as Paige is storming down the stairs. She walks into the living room, throwing something off a table in the hall as she passes by. And she's all, I know you're here, I'll find you. And then she turns around and zaps the mirror over the fireplace. I'm not counting that one toward the FAQ either.
She then sees that photo of Cole and Phoebe that's on the table behind the couch in the living room and zaps it. And we see the empty frame go falling, and then the picture with fire at one corner falls to the ground.
No.
Phoebe's side is mostly fine, and Cole's side is the one that's all on fire, which is hilarious.
And the picture falls at Paige's feet, and she kind of smiles a little.
And also, I didn't realize that picture was that big.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we cut to a hotel room where Phoebe and Cole are on the bed.
He is topless, just wearing a towel, and she is in a black negligee where the strap is falling down enough that there is almost a nip slip.
Yep. She feeds him a strawberry with some whipped cream, tells him she loves him, and fixes the strap. He's like, I had a feeling.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, well, I thought I was being subtle here. And then Paige orbs in on Phoebe's side of the bed.
Yep. She tries to zap Cole, which makes Phoebe know that the power brokers must have gotten to her.
Yeah. She tells Cole there's a potion in her purse, and they get off the bed. Cole goes to Phoebe's purse. Paige says to Phoebe, presumably, that he's evil, and Phoebe tries to stop her. Paige goes to zap Cole, but Phoebe kicks her arm, and then Cole very deliberately drops the potion on the floor.
Paige tries to zap Cole again, but misses, and Phoebe holds onto Paige's arms.
Paige says again that he's evil, and Phoebe calls out for Leo.
Leo and Piper orb in, wearing flower leis and holding coconut drinks. Piper is annoyed and is like, this better be good. And Leo notices Paige's eyes.
As she hits good, that's when she sees Paige.
Yeah, and Leo notices Paige's eyes. Paige struggles to get out of Phoebe's grip, so Piper walks over, grabs a candlestick, and hits Paige over the head.
There was apparently no candle in said candlestick.
Yeah.
Phoebe questions her, and Piper's like, this is what white lighters are for, and then asks where the potion is.
Leo tries to heal Paige, and Cole says that the potion is broken. Piper's like, that's fine, there's more at the manor. And Cole's like, no, Paige broke that one too. Now this is where...
What a way to drop that.
Yeah, this is where I get a little bit annoyed at the girls and at Leo for not getting annoyed at Cole. Like, he just mentioned that Paige broke the potion that was at home, which means that he knew that she was acting weird, but he still left her alone. Yeah. And nobody gets mad at that, not even lightly miffed.
Yeah. Maybe there just wasn't enough time for, Leo to orb in and out and be like, oh, no, she broke that one too. For them to find out that this happened.
Legit, they could have gone to the house.
Yeah.
This scene could have been like, well, there's more at the house. Okay, grab everyone, orb to the house.
Yeah.
Nope.
Anyway.
Piper is upset because the potion took so long to make that Paige could die before they have time to make more.
Phoebe gets covered in a fluffy white robe as Piper removes her lei. And then Phoebe wonders how they didn't notice. Piper, of course, mentions that Paige had been talking about not trusting Cole, and she thinks it's her fault for not thinking that she might be infected.
Phoebe tells her that it's no one's fault, and then goes over to Paige and feels her face.
It seems she's absolutely burning up, and Leo says his healing isn't working.
Piper and Phoebe are freaking out, with Phoebe saying this can't be happening again.
And Cole seems to have a little moment of weakness there.
Yep.
He pipes up and says that there is a way to save her by finding a power broker to pull the power out of her. And Piper's like, yeah, I blew up that asshole. He's like, there's more. Which I will remind you, the page in the book said power brokers.
Correct.
Plural.
Correct. Cole asks Leo to orb him underground. Phoebe tries to say they'll all go as he starts to get dressed.
Cole's like, it's too dangerous. You don't know what powers you'll be up against, and your powers might not work as well underground. Phoebe's like, bitch, you don't have any powers.
Yeah. Piper tells him there's no time to argue, they're all going, and Phoebe goes to get dressed. Now, this is the first time that Cole has mentioned, or that anyone really has mentioned, that their powers might not work as well underground.
Have the girls been underground all that much?
They've been underground a couple of times. Remember the wrestling episode? That was underground.
True, and there were some minor issues. Well, not with Piper's power, but she didn't have the splody. She just had the freezy.
Right, and they were working through the freezing.
Yeah.
So, but this is the first time that it's been mentioned to them that their powers might not work as well underground. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we cut to the underworld.
3 power brokers, all looking exactly like the power broker that Piper blew up, are sitting around a table, swapping little white glowy balls that are the powers. And they're kind of discussing what they are, like, oh, I'll trade you a blah for a blah.
Yeah.
Like, it's very much a 3-year-old's vision of the stock market.
Yeah, a little bit. And the little white balls, they kind of look like Christmas ornaments.
They kind of do.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like nice white frosted.
Yeah.
Cole and Leo peek around a rock. Leo's like, what do we do? And then Piper and Phoebe just fucking walk around the corner.
Cole and Phoebe are now back in their complete outfits, including jacket and poncho, respectively.
Yeah, Piper's like, we're gonna barge in. And Leo tells Leo to get Paige.
Cole tries to stop them, but he is not successful.
Piper tells the power brokers that one of them has misplaced their skanky little power. And Cole tells Leo that he'll get Paige. while he gets them ready to orb them out. And one of the power brokers is like, who the fuck are you? Piper's like, we're the charmed ones, and we'll spare your lives if you pull this power out of our sister.
Cole comes in carrying Paige, and one of the power brokers says that the power of the charmed ones lies in the power of 3, and they're one witch down.
Phoebe asks if they really want to test that theory, and power broker throws a lightning bolt at them. It hits the wall behind them.
Yeah, because they get out just in the nick of time. Piper tells them they lose, and then tries to blow him up.
And it only succeeds in maybe, like, jiggling his insides a little. Because
he kind of takes a little step back.
And Cole reminds them about the warning, about their powers. She shushes him. And then Leo's like, hey, we should leave. So Piper covers it by saying, this was a warning. I'll use full force next time.
Yeah, I think it was a beautiful cover from Piper. 2 of the power brokers, because reminding you, there are 3 of them, kneel down. One begs for forgiveness, and Phoebe seems to enjoy this change in attitude. And we can see behind her that Cole's eyes have flashed fire and then turned black.
And as Phoebe turns around to look at Cole, he turns to look behind him.
As his eyes go back to normal.
Yeah. The third power broker has apparently not noticed any of this.
Yeah, he asks what the other 2 are doing, and the one who has kneeled down and spoken throws an energy ball at the one who was questioning things. And Piper and Phoebe seem a little bit confused, but they go with it.
Yeah. Piper asks what he's waiting for. The power brokers look at Cole, and he kind of
gives
like
a little
looks,
nod.
I don't know if it was so much a nod as it was like he looks at Paige.
Yeah, it was
that
very subtle.
Functions as a nod.
Yeah,
it was
very
super subtle. And so the power brokers go and kneel in front of Paige and pulls the power out of her.
She wakes up. She stands up. She asks where she is. Phoebe's like, you're going to be okay. Leo asks if they can leave.
And then Piper, in my favorite moment of the episode, tells them to wait and then blows up every single power ball in that goddamn room. First, the one in the power broker's hand, and then all of the ones on the table chain react.
And as she turns around to leave, as she's walking past Cole, she quips under her breath that she had enough power to do that.
And the power brokers kind of like look and shrug.
Yeah.
They're like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
But they don't do anything.
Yeah.
And as everyone walks off, Cole turns around and does the little like finger across the lips shush.
Yeah, he shushes them all, and then he smiles and walks off. And sometime later, we cut over to Cole in the Source's cave, staring at his wedding ring.
The seer walks in asking why he saved Paige, and he's like, they would have found a way to save her anyway, but this way, I get the credit.
She asks if he did it for credit or for love. He tells her to be careful.
She's like,
I am being careful. Are you?
What's the I know I am, but what are you?
Yeah. It's not what she says.
Well, I mean, I think it's originally like, I know you are, but what am I? But like, yeah.
That's very Pee Wee Herman, but
yes.
that's not exactly what happens here.
I know.
Anyway,
it's reversed.
Yeah. She says that they've worked too hard to, quote, let a nugget of humanity destroy a legacy of evil, unquote.
It's a good quote.
He tells her that Paige has no memory of the day, so she's not a threat. And she's like, I'm not talking about Paige. I'm talking about Cole. And she actually mentions Cole by name. Because Cole is the one who saved Paige, not the Source.
Cole says he's not concerned, as there will be nothing Cole can do once Phoebe is pregnant. He asks if she is, and I'm like, dude, it takes like a couple of days.
Like, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't already know, the second you ejaculate is not when she gets pregnant. Or when the receptive partner gets pregnant. Like, sperm gotta travel.
Yeah.
Because egg currently in fallopian tube.
Yeah.
Which is, where it lives. It just travels, sperm meets it, fertilize, come out, implant in wall, which is how you get an ectopic pregnancy.
Yep.
Because it doesn't leave the fallopian tube, it implants there, and those you have to surgically remove.
Yes.
Those cannot survive.
Is bad.
No.
Anyway.
And sometimes they implant on the outside of the uterus, which also ectopic, because that's generally what ectopic means. I just find those ones funny, because it's like, You went on the outside of the bag. That's not where the cushioning is.
Yep. Anyway, so he asks if she's pregnant. The seer's eyes go white, and then she tells him that she's seeing conflicting futures and only time will tell. And then she immediately disappears, leaving him alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry. Seer is not going to be any faster than your basic pregnancy test.
Yeah.
We get an overhead, fast-flying shot of the city. The shot, kind of flings us around the triangle building, and then we find ourselves at P3.
Rebecca Ryan is playing her song Big Trouble, Lots of Fun on stage. Piper and Phoebe are sitting at the table as Paige comes over and sits down. Paige is in black slacks, no bra, and a low-cut pink shirt that has tied string sleeves, as well as sleeves that hang loosely off the shoulder. It's kind of hard to describe.
Mm-hmm.
Her hair is down with a bit of a wave to it. Piper is in a long-sleeve black shirt with lacy trim and dark jeans.
Her hair is fucking gorgeous. It's pulled into 2 low-curled pigtails with, the bangs around the side also curled down.
Mm-hmm.
And then Phoebe is in a white cami top that kind of ruches down the left boob and has a flower detail at the top of it, paired with a long pink skirt.
Also, no bra.
Nope.
Her hair is down and straight, and she has a small diamond horseshoe necklace.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice little necklace.
Yes, it's very cute. And there's a little continuity error with Paige's drink. On the shots of Phoebe, it's on the table, but on the close-up shots of Paige, she's holding it.
Yeah. Anyway, so Paige is saying that she can't believe she destroyed the house. Phoebe says she can't believe what Paige almost saw in the hotel if she had gotten there just 5 minutes earlier.
Yep.
And then Piper stops her from oversharing.
Yeah. Karen comes in and approaches the table, but Paige doesn't recognize her at all. And Karen's dressed in a jacket and has her purse with her.
Yeah.
And Karen mentions that Phoebe told the fearful woman that we saw the letter of to get a dog. And Phoebe covers her face and she's like, I don't know, it felt right at the time. Karen's like, I would have told her to get a therapist and a life.
Piper chimes in that that's what she said. And Karen's like, no, what Phoebe wrote was better.
Yeah.
And Phoebe seems surprised by this, but Karen tells her that it was proactive and non-judgmental.
Yes. And then she mentions that the whole column felt fresh and full of passion. Phoebe thanks her, and Karen says that she's going to tell Elise that Phoebe wrote it.
Phoebe tells her that she shouldn't do that because she'll get fired, but Karen's like, yeah, and Elise will hire you right then, I'm sure. If you think that you can handle working for that witch.
Yeah. Piper jokes about thinking of her more as a demon, and Phoebe shushes her.
Karen says that she hates Elise, and that even though she has no idea what happened that day, she feels like she just wants to stay at home and spend more time with her child.
Mm-hmm. She thanks them for everything, and then leaves. Phoebe's like, oh, that was sweet. Paige asks what just happened. And Piper's like, I think Phoebe just got a job.
Phoebe laughs and wonders if she could actually take the job, and Piper tells her that someone is going to pay her to tell other people what to do, so she should shut up and be happy.
So they pick up their drinks and make a toast. Piper toasts to Phoebe, never giving lethal advice. Paige toasts to Piper, actually getting to go on her honeymoon the next day.
And Phoebe starts to toast to Paige. Paige jumps in, toasting to never trying to kill her sisters again.
And Piper jokes that she's not really a Halliwheel until she's gone demonic on her sisters at least twice.
Phoebe says that she didn't go demonic on them, she went demonic on Cole.
Piper isn't splitting hairs, of course.
But Phoebe realizes that the only reason Karen went after Elise is because she already hated her, which means that Paige must have already hated Cole.
Paige backtracks and tries to say she doesn't hate Cole, she just doesn't trust him. And she apologizes for not really knowing why she feels that way. Phoebe says she's sorry too, and walks off.
Piper gets up to follow her, and we end on a pullback and fade out. It was nice.
Mm-hmm.
It was very funny to see the extras in the background dancing, just to not the right beat.
Yeah.
At all.
They never are.
They never are.
But hey, we actually get, because it's a live performer, we get to keep the music.
Yes. Even though you'd think because it's a live performer, they would have had the right beat to dance to.
Well, no, because they're never playing it except when they're filming the performer.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, it's just a production thing. It's always complete. It has to be completely silent in those rooms, otherwise you cannot get any fucking dialogue.
This is true. So, with the credits down onto our ratings, I'm gonna go first. I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10. Use your words, people!
Mm-hmm. That could be said for most episodes, though.
I know.
That could be said for almost all of TV.
But especially this one.
Because most of TV relies on the idiot plot.
It is my favorite John Green gif is him saying, I only have one piece of relationship advice. Use your words.
Yes.
Because it's so true.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give this an 8.75 out of 10 magic mules.
Magic mules.
As opposed to drug mules.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Or, hang on. No, I'm going to change that. Power pack mules.
Okay.
I think that works better.
Power pack mules. Sure.
Yeah.
I like it.
Because, for me, this episode is definitely, like, up at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not, like, the top. This is not my favorite episode. Not by a long shot, though. It works really well with plotting. The writing makes sense. There's not too much idiot plot.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cute moments in this one.
It's understandable miscommunication. It's not like you could have literally just said the thing and none of this would have fucking happened.
There is,
but I mean,
yeah,
like there are moments, but it's also just like no, like it makes sense why they would say this instead of this. Like, you know, not everyone's going to be super intuitive.
Yeah, there are a lot of cute moments in this one, but there's also a lot of like, God damn it, people, just listen to each other kind of moments. Like, I don't
think there were too many of those.
No, but like if Piper had actually listened to Paige and like listened to her concerns and heard her out instead of being like, no, deal with your own shit, this might not have gone the way it went. You know what I mean? Like, honest and open communication.
I mean, I still don't think Piper would have believed her at all, but the extra shutting her down, was a bit of a just for the plotsies.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just for the plotsies.
Yes. Anyway, so with ratings done, we are on to outfits. For Piper, I think this is the first time that I can't pick which of her outfits I like best.
Oh, man.
Because her main story outfit was really nice.
Yep.
But both her first dress and her final top and jeans were also really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I liked all of her outfits this episode, which is rare for me.
Piper. Oh,
Piper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where Piper's outfits start to get into the really, like, good territory where there's almost nothing bad, I feel like. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For Phoebe, I actually really enjoyed the knit poncho thing that she wore for most of the episode, and the outfit was cute without it, too.
Yeah. At the very beginning of the episode, when I'm looking at her in that, I'm like, fuck, she's going to cover that hair with, like, one of those knit beanie hats to match it, isn't she? And then she didn't, and I was super happy.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
Good.
And then Paige with the red and white striped shirt outfit thing was super cute. Like I said, I think I had a shirt like that back in the day. I really enjoyed that outfit. I didn't mind her final outfit.
I really liked that one.
But I don't know. There was a little too much nipple showing for me in that final outfit. Just a
skosh.
A skosh too much nipple.
Uh-huh.
A little nipplage happening. Anyway, so with outfits done, ratings done, we're on to social media stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You can, as per always, email any questions, comments, or queries to charmchats@gmail.com. You can find all of the links to whatever was mentioned in today's episode at our website, charmchats.com, which is where you can also find links to our Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Redbubble, YouTube, and Patreon pages. And if you want to join the Discord, all you have to do is email us the phrase, "We're the power of 2 plus blue," and we will send you an invite link to the Discord.
Yes.
We thank you for listening. And until next time,
sleep tight. Don't let the warlocks bite.
Bye.
Bye.
Or shove chocolate down your throat.
Or up your butt.
Wow.
Piper, Phoebe, and Paige, kicking evil sauce weekly in this more than